Go get your picture.
No, absolutely not.
Go get your picture.
No,
Go get your picture.
Here's mine.
no.
Yeah, get your picture. It
No,
shows,
James first. There
It
you
shows
go.
the level of excellence that you want to provide for the show. That's why I printed your picture that you
I'll go this
requested
side.
for you,
This
tough
side.
guy.
Yeah, no. It's in all of that. It's not even what happened.
Oh, there we go. No
But that
glare.
was what you
Perfect.
requested.
Oh, perfection. The man.
That's good.
The myth.
All right, ready, Caleb?
Yep.
What is happening? Why'd you choose that one? What's
Because
happening?
it's Pavo, bro.
Well, Vic Diaz.
It's Vic.
And speaking of Quentin Tarantino once said that Vic Diaz is one of his favorite actors.
So he loves Vic Diaz.
He loves Vic Diaz, so he provides a level of excellence that I think
Look this guy up.
Vic Diaz, everyone.
It's very important.
I feel like me and him. Wait, let me see it again. Let me see it again. Let me get the. Wait.
Say.
My eyebrows are bigger, but I feel like
Switched at birth.
I mean, is it? Am I wrong or is it? Am I wrong or is it working? Get me the hood.
No.
Is this working?
It kind of works.
This is way too much.
Do we look the same?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think you might, but I feel like it makes me racist if I say yes.
I'll
What do
say
you
yeah.
mean? Why does it make you
I'm
racist?
gonna say yeah.
Why does it make you racist? Look, see, we gotta get out of this mindset that everything is racist. I can look like this man, and this man can look like me without it being about that. It's just, do we have a likeness?
I think even if you look deep into the eyes that you guys share a similar type of soul.
And this wasn't something that I planned. I just feel like I liked this guy, and then I printed out a high quality picture of him.
Wait, did you print out doppelgangers for all of us? Do I look at least a little bit as
Look a little bit like Liam Neeson.
That's not Liam
I've-
Neeson, but
Wait, who'd you get again?
Willem
oh,
Dafoe.
yeah, Willem Dafoe. I don't know why. Oh, he said Liam Neeson before he ended up on the picture he really wanted. James, can you go get his picture?
That's not my picture. That's not who I wanted.
It's who he said
It's
represents
n-
him.
His name never came out of my mouth.
should I go get it?
Not once ever.
Yeah, go get his picture.
Oh man,
This is absolutely
I might have to go
ridiculous.
get it.
A
I think
chat? It doesn't matter.
I think you gotta go get his picture.
Does chat want to know?
No, chat already canceled you, so I guess it doesn't matter at this point.
Does chat want to know?
Yeah.
No, they don't wanna know 'cause
Tough
you're
Guy
already
requested
canceled.
A picture. Yeah, just go get it for him. Tough Guy requested a picture, and
I didn't request this picture.
he asked me to print him something.
I absolutely did not.
And I printed it out, and now James is gonna get that picture. We would show you Tough Guy right now, but we had a technical issue with the camera. It's not working. Wait
My face
a
broke
second.
it.
Wait
That's
a
what
second.
happened.
I'm gonna give you a camera.
How?
We have a fourth camera right here.
We don't have to.
We have a fourth camera,
We
so I'm
don't.
gonna give you a camera.
We don't gotta.
I'm gonna turn it on right now. Watch, turn it on in 3, 2. I'll tell you when. All right.
It's on.
Get it. All right.
The
it's
camera's on.
on. Okay. See, there we go.
Oh, okay.
And then
We're
now
live. They can see everything.
It's a good angle.
This seems dangerous.
It's a good angle.
Okay, well. What do you want me to do? Like, think.
That is. Oh shit! You spilt it.
What?
Oh!
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Party foul.
Oh.
There it goes.
Oh. Oh.
This is the craziest live stream you've ever seen, guys.
Oh.
Am I allowed to describe what just happened?
Where in the 70s? It's a basement. It's a basement. In the 70s.
Good God.
In the basement. We're still spilling shit. We're still spilling stuff. We're still spilling it.
We got almonds in the basement. Almonds in the basement. We gotta stop. This is awful, dude.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop.
All right, cue me up another trailer while we're dealing with something. Let's give us we'll do something here.
Oh!
He did it again, folks. He did it again.
Give it to me. Oh my god.
No! Fuck you, Vic!
I'm sorry.
No!
Nah, dude. This is basically sandwich punch right now. Nobody knows what that means, but it'll make sense someday.
Oh, it smells terrible.
All right, that seems like a great place to watch a trailer.
All right, trailer.
It's everywhere!
In a flop house, three stoners are looking
flop
for
house.
the ultimate high.
Large bong for sale.
They said.
What can I say?
What was that, tough guy?
Look more like what pick? What are they trying to say? Oh, you talking about Vic? Oh, you talking about Vic Diaz?
Oh, because the hood.
I got the hood on,
Kinda, yeah. You're closer now.
so I look like Vic now.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
You got something on your head.
Yeah, because now
Yeah, when it's flopped forward like that, it kind of looks like his little hood.
it looks a little like a hood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did it. You figured it out.
Girl, I'm nuts for your guns, girl, I'm nuts for your guns, I don't know what I do if I couldn't cut into you. I'm in love with you, and what that entails is me ripping myself up like the mummy with your entrails, cause I'm nuts for your guns, girl, I'm nuts for your guns, I don't know what I do if I couldn't cut into you.
Hey guys, welcome to Horror Soup. It's me. I'm James.
I'm Caleb.
That's the guy.
That's us, guys.
Tough guys producing.
I'm here.
He doesn't want to talk. For
I'm
some
pushing
reason.
buttons.
We're doing something a little bit different on this episode.
Oh, this episode's off to a terrible start.
Doing something a little bit different on this episode.
We're doing a lot different. First off, we're
Just a
recording
little
this. We're recording this one live. We're streaming this episode live.
Live
And we're not discussing a movie exactly. We're discussing 170.
I hope you guys are ready.
This episode.
Strap
I
the
hope-
fuck in.
I hope this episode ends up being named what we talked about naming it. Hey, James, give me the rundown.
That's my plan.
Really? We're both giving the rundown?
It's more you giving the rundown.
And it's possible that you haven't seen like 70 of these movies.
A
Or
lot
probably
of this
the
is
first
just going to be
70
me
that was-
asking you for information to create a rundown. Really, I should just read off the list and you should respond.
The explanation of this episode is off to a bad start. This episode's off to a bad start. I don't know what it is, but I know what it is. Like in my mind, this episode sounds cool. Okay.
I think there's something here.
So you know how like when you watch a TV show and they do like a flashback episode, it kind of sucks. But when they do a year in review, sometimes it's pretty fun because then they go back and they talk about, you know, the things that they did before and they give you like their opinions and like, you know, their thoughts of like what was going on in that moment or like what's going on now.
Dude, I love a flashback episode.
I feel like
Like a nice clip show where it's like, "Hey, remember when this happened?" and then they just flash back. "Hey, remember when this happened?"
half and half. It depends on what it is. Like that 70s show, great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm only bringing that up because me and you are watching a lot of that
We're
70s show right
Binging
now.
the fuck out of it right now.
It hasn't been on a streaming service again in a while. And shout out Kim because Kim
Yep.
was the one who let us know about all that. And now I find myself using Peacock just a lot more in general.
Same.
Like I'm watching more things on it. Nope's on Peacock.
I know.
Peacock's kind of.
I also forgot that they have like all the wrestling shit, which I mean, I'm not
We've been
huge into
talk-
wrestling, but I want to be more into it.
We
so.
both said that we want to get like more into
Yeah.
into wrestling. We want to have our. We were just talking about doing movie nights We talked about doing wrestling
Wrestling
nights before.
nights.
Let's do the fucking wrestling nights.
We need to do
dude.
wrestling nights.
Why don't we do the wrestling nights?
Yeah, we're doing wrestling nights.
Yeah, we gotta do that. Oh. So what happened right now for the audio listeners? Pepper moved the camera, and our producer Tough Guy was hopping up. He moved the camera a lot, so I just have
Yeah.
to assume that
It's not bad. Here.
It's perfect.
I'm just
it's
gonna.
fine.
No, it's fine. Whatever he
We
did,
trust you.
We're
Yeah.
rocking with that for the rest of the. It's
great.
Okay, it's not. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna
great.
live with it. Yeah. This doesn't help anyone who's listening on the audio. So where are we at right now? Flashback episodes are sometimes fun.
Yeah, we're doing a flashback episode of Horror Soup.
Kind of. We're doing a flashback, but it's also like a rundown.
The rundown.
We're doing the rundown. We wanted to call this Horror Soup in Review, but then we looked at each other and went, it's not a review.
It's not really communicating what we're doing.
We're not doing that.
Yeah,
We're doing a overview.
it's an overview.
It's an overview.
Yeah.
I'm still calling it the rundown,
It's an overview.
but it's an overview.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a year in review overview.
Right.
It's a overview. We're viewing all of it.
Overview of the whole thing, baby.
So basically, our plan is to talk about all the things that have been done on Horror Soup in the past, maybe give a little bit of insight to what happened in those episodes, if I remember, or like what's going on in them. I think I'll have some memories from each of them, probably.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to get through all 170, but I feel like we're going to go on terrible tangents and we're going to get to like 35.
Probably.
And then we're going to be like, all right, guys, tune in 3 months
Do another one.
when we might do another one. And then it'll be 3 years later
Yeah.
when we do another one.
Sounds about right.
But that's the plan.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Let's try it.
The plan is terrible. This isn't a plan. You know what? You know when someone says, all right, that's the plan, and
That's
it's
the
not at all a
plan.
plan, and it just sounds like it's going to fail.
No, it's a plan. We got a plan.
It's a plan.
We got a plan.
So this is our episode. This is the rundown, and I guess should we just go right into it?
Yeah, and let's start with. I mean, there has to be a story because there's an episode 0.
Oh, so you already have this up. So I guess you should do the thing and ask the things, and maybe once it gets to like, if we get that far in this episode, if it gets to like where you pop in, maybe I can start asking you stuff and ask
Sure,
you,
sure,
you know,
sure.
how you feel about things. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Okay, so we're in. Okay, what do you want? You started a statement.
Well, there has to be a story. There's an episode 0 and an episode 1, and they're both the ice cream truck.
The story behind that is that every podcast, unless you already have good audio equipment and you've already like worked on shit before, your first episode sounds like dog shit.
Yeah.
Probably your first like 7 or something
Yeah.
like that, like 5 to 7 at least.
Mm-hmm.
And our first episode was god awful. We were recording on a Blue Yeti microphone. If you guys are familiar with microphones, then you know what it is. If you're not, then it's just a very it's one of the first microphones that most people buy if they don't know anything about microphones. They just hear about streaming or podcasting or something online.
Right.
It's the microphone you're probably going to end up with.
And it's probably not the one you needed to buy.
It's probably not the one you needed.
It
and
may have been in some cases.
some
It is a
cases.
really good microphone. Yes,
It's cool.
but in most cases, it's probably not the one that you needed for your circumstance.
And for what we were doing, it was 2 people, and we were trying to use one microphone, which might have worked kind of. There's an interview mode on the Blue Yeti, and it's
Right.
like basically you
Does
talk
the polar
into
on each side.
exactly.
Yeah.
We were on the complete opposite sides of it, so we did the interview mode,
And you,
and we were on the wrong sides of it.
so you were just getting like the rejection the whole time.
Yes. So basically, in layman's
pretty
terms,
funny.
it sounded fucking terrible
That's
because we
pretty funny.
recorded it like idiots.
It was an
like
it was an
fools.
interview mode, but also off axis.
Yeah. So basically, it's very bad.
That's great.
So we probably recorded that number 0 episode, maybe like 50 something episodes down the line.
Yeah, it says 1 year. I think it was 1 year later.
I think the date's wrong on that.
Oh, okay.
I think I just put the date on like something so it would be, at the beginning of the feed. So that date
Gotcha.
isn't right. Like, I mean, most dates, if not all of them, should be correct for when
Right.
an episode actually came out. But that one is not because
Yeah.
we just wanted at the beginning of the feed so people didn't click on to the episode that sounded awful.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, I guess if you
granted,
did it around 50, because you've always, I mean, for at the beginning part of the show, you were always weekly. So
it was weekly and we
would've
never
been-
missed a week.
So you would have
for,
been
like,
right around a year.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what it was. It was the 1 year revisit episode.
Yeah.
So I think it was just around our 1 year mark, if not like to the day.
Yeah.
We might have put it out to the day, actually.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. So that's why there is a number 0 and a number 1. I personally like both episodes a lot.
Yeah.
The ice cream truck is just my favorite movie to talk about, like in general, whether horror or anything else. And the fact that we started out with that movie and this podcast grew into something is still the craziest thing to me.
That's pretty wild, man.
Because that movie is just, I mean, we just talked about it because we were like, oh, okay, well, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about some horror movie, keep going. And honestly, this show popped off way faster than I ever thought it would.
Yeah.
Like very early on. Like we had like, like a surge in listeners probably like before the 10th episode.
Damn.
And that was crazy.
That's huge,
Still
dude.
Still is.
And considering that if you do go back through and look, let's see. Yeah, your first 5 also have like a a warning label.
Probably because they all sound terrible.
They all
And
say bad sound quality.
I put that on in post because I was like, wow, this is very bad. This is very, very bad.
So your next movie is Satan's Little Helper. Do you remember anything about that?
Oh, I remember everything about that. I want to cover that again, like tomorrow, with you.
I know the cover, but I've never seen the movie.
I want all of us to watch it. I've probably told the story, and I probably told the story like in that episode.
Yeah.
But the reason that was my pick one. I mean, the first 2 picks, obviously, both mine.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bree had a choice in those. I was like, we're doing these, and I think we tried to record something else. We actually, the first episode we tried to do, and I've told the story many times, but we tried to do the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. But I was like, okay, cool, let's try
That's
it.
right.
We both had nothing to say about it. Did not know how to do it. I mean, flashback like what, a year or 2 later. And we did like a 2.5-hour episode on it. So, I mean, we had nothing to say about it at one time, but things done changed.
Yeah.
But at that time, Satan's Little Helper, that was a movie that I just remember watching, like early days of Netflix.
Yeah.
Really weird horror movies, random stuff.
Yeah.
You'd never know where they came from, how they...
Was that back when they called it Instant Watch?
That wasn't that far back, but it was a little bit after. It was like it was not long after Netflix like hopped onto the streaming shit.
Right.
So I remember finding that, and I'm pretty sure it could. No, I mean I think Netflix was like the only streaming thing around that time, so it had to
really
have been
was, yeah.
on Netflix. Pop that movie on. It's just about some little kid who has a game that's called Satan's Little Helper.
Yeah.
He's like hooked on it. He's like dressing like him for Halloween, and then he walks up to some guy who looks nothing like the dude in the game.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "You're him. You're Satan. I'm going to do your bidding." And then the dude just kind of starts pointing at people and then starts killing people. And then he's just like, "Yeah, dude, that's cool." And then finally the dude pulls up and like kills his dad in front of him or something. He's like, "Oh shit. Oh my God. What's going on? I can't believe this." And everyone's like, "Yeah, you dumbass. What are you doing?
Right.
What's wrong with you?" And it's a very strange movie. Stupid plot. So fun though. Probably one of my fondest horror memories.
Yeah.
In a weird way, like early, like mid 2000s, like horror memory,
Yeah.
because I think it came out 2003 or 4 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my fondest memories. I really love that movie. I want to watch that again. I want to do like watch throughs of that. It's great.
Don't forget the incest is what it says in your in your description. So don't forget about that.
And you're right, or I'm right, because there are multiple times where I think the kid in the movie, the dude who's Satan's little helper,
Yeah.
he's like looking at his sister and he's just like, "Oh, dude, you're huge fucking tits" and shit like that. So, I mean, yeah, there's
Gotta love it, right?
there's some problems with it. I can't believe that started early on, man. Episodes 2, and then came back around with the Amityville stuff, man.
Dude.
Incest is it's part of horror.
Now, again, I didn't listen to Horror Soup this early, and I've gone back and listened to some early stuff, but like, not necessarily every single episode. So we're about to embark on a journey, a 3-part journey of episodes that just says Joseph Fritzl is a sick fuck. And
Yes.
there's 3 episodes of that.
That was when we first started the show. I told Bree that I wanted to do a horror movie podcast, but I also wanted it to be a true crime podcast. So we wanted to initially do like every other episode. It was going to be horror and then true crime and then horror and then true crime.
Gotcha.
And for a while, or no, not for a while, like we started writing the episodes like that because I was doing the research on the true crime stuff in the beginning. Because that's pretty much what I told her. I was like, hey, I kind of already have an idea of what we're going to do with this, so I'm going to do the outlines for all those. We're going to start doing it. And it kind of just got a little off. And when I got to the Joseph Fritzl stuff, I realized it was going to be a long thing. So it ended up being like a whole 3-parter, you know?
Yeah.
And then it didn't end up being like an every other episode thing. It ended up like faltering off because I'd be working on stuff in the background, and I was like, all right, if we're putting this out week to week,
Yeah.
like it's fucking hard. I was like, I probably should have worked on this like before we got into all of this.
It's
you
tough,
know? But
yeah.
and we got to a point eventually where we did like True Crime Thursdays, and we did do True Crime week to week for probably like, we put out like 20 some, I think about 20 or 20-ish episodes, so probably like 20 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did it for a while.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, that was the story behind that. We did the Joseph Fritzl episodes. Still some of my favorite. That was like when I was like, oh no, we're doing this podcast shit. I read 3 fucking books for those episodes, dude. I don't even be reading like that. Like
yeah,
I
man,
don't.
that's
like,
a lot for you.
And there was a time where like I did like reading and I did read more than that, you know? But that wasn't the time when we did the podcast. Like it'd been a while since I'd read a lot, and I was like, you know what? No, like I want to do this shit. I want to get back into reading. And for a little bit, I was doing it. Like all the books that I have right now, and especially all the true crime books, I think I read all of them because they were all like cases that I wanted us to work on, or like something that I was working on in the background. But I was like, you know, it's gonna take a bit because I wanted to do them good.
Right.
But yeah, that's the story behind those ones.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
So now we're on episode 6 because this is Scream, right?
Yeah, we're already up to Scream.
So Scream, this was Brie finally got her way. Is what I like to call this era, because Brie kept saying, I want to do good movies, and I was like, nah, dude, if we're doing a horror podcast, we have to do shitty stuff because that's probably what people are looking up. And still to this day, I get it, but I don't get it, you know, because I still feel like if you're looking up a podcast, like I always thought that people are going to find you if you're talking about obscure stuff, because there has to be people out there in the world that are like, no one's talking about X, Y, or Z.
Right.
So they have to be looking that up. But that's not what it is. People just want to hear you talking about the same movie that they've heard everyone else talk about.
Yeah. That's
a million times.
That's been my experience too. And every time I'm like, is there anything I could possibly say about Nightmare on Elm Street that not a million other people have already said, but that episode will do better than anything else on the feed, you know?
That's the thing that really gets to me. It's always like, I don't want to talk about this because everyone said it, and even if I say something else, like, yeah, it could be funny and it could be a good episode or whatnot, but I just feel like it's so oversaturated that I never want to do them. I'm like, I want to talk about something that people aren't talking about, you know? Like, get that out there. Those episodes never do as well.
Yeah, it's just the facts.
And it took me a long time to just say that outright. I mean, even when I was seeing the numbers were being like kind of weird or something, I was like, well, I don't know. Like, it's still early on. Like, we got to see, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, Brie was right from the beginning.
Yeah.
She was right from the beginning. I mean, her wanting to do all those, like, more popular and just better movies. I mean,
all the classics.
That is what people want to hear.
That's
and
true.
I think
It's
that
facts.
is what... and I think that is what...
Is she here right now?
got us big. I think that helped a lot. I think like what got us big was like our charisma and the way we talked about movies and like, you know, just how it was.
Yeah.
But I think a big part of like what opened us up to a bigger audience and even allowed people to hear that to begin with was doing some of those more popular movies.
Doing
That
some of the
Scream
mainstream
episode,
stuff.
that Scream episode got a lot of traction.
Yeah.
A lot of traction, and it blew me away because I was like, "How does this work? Like, what's up with this podcasting shit?
Yeah.
You know, like, what is this?
It's weird that that's the way it works.
It's strange, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know how
we're
I feel
getting into
about
trauma now.
Poltergeist?
Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow, man. Really brings me back. I want to do some more trauma movies. Is really what I have to say about this era.
Yeah.
We have to do some trauma stuff.
I'm down for that.
Because I think that would be a lot of fun. Never got to the Toxic Avenger. I think we did Class of Nukem High.
Yeah, you
that's
did.
That's the next one, right? Or then the one after.
You got butt
crack and then Class of Nukem High. I guess I could just talk about all these as a whole. This is again. I gave Brie her one moment, and I was like, all right, fuck you. We're going back to fucking B movies, man. And we just started going in on trauma.
Yeah.
We did Poultrygeist first. Most chicken-rific movie ever.
Yeah.
I love it, man. There's a lot of dicks in it. Chickens.
Good.
Zombie chickens.
A lot of
The
cocks
only
in it?
time I like zombies, actually, you know what? 2 zombie movies in a row that I loved.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Poultrygeist and Butt
Butt
Crack.
Crack.
Both pretty great. And honestly, you could probably also argue that Class and Nukem High, they kind of turned into radioactive zombies a little bit too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You're right.
you know, it was kind of a zombie trilogy that I wasn't mad about. And I always said, oh, wait, these are like the first zombie movies we did. But really, they weren't.
Yeah.
There was some other stuff going on. And that was around the time that it got to World War Z and Train
Right.
to Busan and all that stuff. But no, yeah. Episode 7, Poultrygeist. The only thing I remember about that is just Brie fucking crying laughing because I don't think she'd experienced any movie exactly like that before. You know? I just remember Brie losing her shit.
Yeah.
The chickens, them just like naming all the characters after fast foods, you know, after fast food establishments. And I just remember a lot of explosions and dicks. And, you know, I remember just physically Brie going, boom.
That sounds like your kind of movie, dude.
I really want to move into Butt Crack, though, because that was that was where it really solidified, I don't know, maybe the show, maybe everything in the world,
Yeah.
maybe just life is happy.
It's a I mean, like Thanksgiving, that one's special to you.
Butt Crack is the most special movie to me probably in the world. I'd put that up there with The Dark Crystal, with Thanksgiving, with Spider-Man 3,
There
with
you go.
I mean the Texas Chainsaws,
This is basically your Mount Rushmore. You just built it.
Super Bad,
Yeah.
everything else. Wait, is he gonna? Okay, he's gonna walk by. Tough Guy dropped a piece of hot Cheeto and I've been staring at it just to make sure Pepper didn't run over and eat it. And it looked like Pepper was about to like barrel toward it right now, but he stopped. He stopped and we're
I
good.
dropped one.
Yeah, you dropped one.
Yeah, you dropped a piece of Cheeto. Because, well, to be fair, you came in with the bag completely upside down. So, like, of course you dropped one.
Well,
If we're being honest.
it was upside down when I opened it, though.
This guy, dude, the wraparound explanations that this man has for everything. There was one time when we were doing the Thanksgiving episode, I'm not going to give the whole explanation, but basically we're going to have him read a script and then call us out if something was slightly off, and we were like, well, not slightly off, if a line was off, basically, if we tried to recite a
If
line
like we
to
got
him and it was off.
stuck or got it
if we got stuck.
wrong. Yeah.
And me and James decided, and he wasn't here, we looked at each other and we were like, he can't do that.
No,
Like,
no.
If he does that, we're gonna say the instead of like or the.
Right.
Like that was the thing. We're gonna say the instead of the,
Right.
and he's gonna like shut the whole thing down. He's gonna be like, no, I don't know about
No,
that.
you messed that one up.
And then we'd
he'll
miss an entire
completely-
line.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, no, that's right.
yeah. He'd be like, oh yeah. You got it. You got it.
You got it. Oh, did I drop a hot Cheeto while the bag was upside down? Oh, well, I grabbed it upside down.
Opened it upside down. Held it upside down.
What does that mean? We're not talking about the text being printed upside about where you open the bag. That's not what we're doing. Defend yourself, tough guy.
I already did. It was upside down when I opened it.
All right, mute your mic. Never mind. I don't want to hear a defense from you anymore. I'm done with this. Butt crack.
That's an FWCS
I-
answer if I've ever heard
Yeah,
one.
I ate it upside down too.
Oh my god. Mute your mic. I don't want to hear you anymore. I don't want to fucking hear you anymore. Everyone,
God, I'm dead.
I'm sure when people listen to the show, they're probably like, "Oh, Caleb's just bullying this guy. He needs to be bullied."
So as I'm going through here, do you want me to keep pulling out the true crimes, or do you only want to talk about movie
No,
stuff?
we can talk about all of it.
Cool.
Give me a quick second while I put Pepper's diaper on, and
Yeah.
then I'll get back to butt crack.
All right.
No, like say things.
Yeah. So, I mean, I watched Butt Crack
You watched butt crack
with you here
I
in
made-
this house.
Like that was a couple weeks ago. I remember this now because I said, "Have you ever seen butt crack?" And you said, "No."
Yeah, I had not.
Can you hand me that bong that I
And we
spilled all
have
over my
now.
carpet earlier?
We've definitely
Twice.
seen it.
Yeah, butt crack is really just a gem. That movie, I have a story behind finding that.
Yeah.
I'm on a FaceTime with my friend, and this was just like, we were just FaceTime and just talk about nothing, you know? And we're sitting there, I'm just scrolling through, and this was early on in the podcast, you know, it had only been around for a few weeks at this point. And actually, this might have been even before the podcast started, or maybe right when it did. I'm scrolling around, and I see Butt Crack on Amazon Prime, and I show it to her, and she goes, all right. That's probably exactly what she said. And I went, this is interesting. Gonna come back to this.
Yeah.
We FaceTime multiple times after this over the coming like weeks or whatever. And every time I see it, I go, all right, I'm gonna check this out soon. Finally, one day we're FaceTiming, I turn it on, and I expect to just watch it for a couple seconds to see what's going on. And she watches the whole thing with me on FaceTime. I flip the camera, you know, and we just start watching it.
Shit.
Bless you. We watched the whole movie and get to the end, and I went, holy shit, this might have been one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, we're dying the whole time we're watching this. So immediately after watching it, I said, Bree, this is our next episode. Like, there's no way we're doing anything else.
Butt crack, butt crack.
There's this dude named Wade, and, you know, he has his butt crack hanging out, and he turns people into butt crack zombies. Anyone that looks at his butt crack turns into a zombie. And this is like toward the end of the movie when this happens. The whole thing is like this other guy, he's trying to propose to his girlfriend in his apartment while his roommate's home. And then she just keeps seeing his butt crack, and it makes her like vomit. Like literally vomit.
I think the funniest moments for me are her just going, oh, just his butt crack.
Because sometimes it's a physical cue where she just like starts vomiting, or she just goes, when she sees it. Like it's shooting her, you know, and every time it hits her, she's like,
causing her physical harm.
And then other times she just explains, she goes, oh, his butt crack. My favorite part, though, is Wade singing. I mean, his singing the whole movie is great. Come here, Mrs. Pilgrim Girl. We're gonna churn it away. Sings like that the whole time. And churn the milk and make it butter.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
It's great. It's like, rock star girl, watch a movie with me. We're gonna go to the shore.
Oh, but I'm not gay, though. I don't like any of that gay stuff.
Because the whole plot of this movie is that, like, this guy who's trying to propose to his girlfriend, he has to get his friend to hang out with Wade to get him out of the house. And he's like, all right, take him out to a movie. And then when the guy's taking Wade out to a movie, he's like, all right, so let's go see this, blah, blah, blah. And then Wade's like, oh, are you coming on to me? What are you doing? I don't go that way.
Which, trust me, that's not what's happening.
That's not what's happening whatsoever. The guy's literally just like, hey, so... You like movies? Like, maybe you should... Oh, you know what he says? This is him off. He's like, you should pull up your pants sometimes. He's like, oh, you looking at my butt crack? Oh, you should be looking at girls' butt cracks.
That's right. Don't be looking at my butt crack. You should be looking at girls' butt cracks.
So,
oh my God.
That's how that came about. Still
butt
the
crack,
funniest thing in the world. Anytime I say butt crack to Bree, she'll go, churn the milk and make it butter. It's great, man. It's a great movie.
Yeah, next up is Class of Nukem High.
I don't know if I've ever told this story, though, before we get into
story?
that. I spoke to Jim Larson. I have the recording, I'm sure somewhere, like parts of it, like what was salvaged from it. But Jim Larson is the director and writer of Butt Crack. And I got in contact with him, and he's super down to, like, you know, talk to me and, like, you know, talk about the movie. Because I told him, I was like, this is fucking great. I love this movie so much. And I finally got on a call with him one day, and he answers, and it's like, he looks like he's in a bungalow in Hawaii. And then at one point he goes, I'm in a bungalow in Hawaii. And he goes, this is why my signal's so bad. He's like bouncing around, like I could barely make it out. I'm like, you're in a bungalow in Hawaii? And then it finally comes out. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. It looks like that's what's going on. And we're trying to talk. We were supposed to cover Slumber Party Massacre together.
Oh, wow.
And if we go far enough down this list, you will come to find out that that was an episode.
Yeah.
But it wasn't with Jim Larson. We probably got like 10 minutes into it of trying to do it, and it lagged so much that I was like, all right, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It can't happen.
Not in the cards from the bungalow, huh?
But and he tried to like call me like after that too. Like he tried to like just regular call me. Like he was like, I'm going to walk down to the park. I'm gonna call you, and I don't even know if I ever got that call. I'm not blaming him though at all. This isn't me talking shit on him. I think that dude's legitimately just living his life in a bungalow in Hawaii. Like he was actually.
No, he's still just chilling in a bungalow in Hawaii.
No, I talked to him a few months ago.
Yeah.
I contacted him because I was like, hey, I still want to talk to you. Like nothing's changed. I
Sure.
still fucking love your movie. I love this. I still want to get this going.
And he said, yeah, nothing's changed for me either.
He said, hey, I'm still in this bungalow in Hawaii. But maybe he said something like, maybe I could get some better signal. We could work something out. I was like, all right, let's go do XYZ. And then I don't think he ever answered because of signal. You know? But I know that he wants to do it. And I know we will get it going. And I'm telling
someday.
you guys, one day, like this Jim Larson conversation is going to happen. I'm going to fly out to
I was
Hawaii.
going to say, we just need to go to Hawaii.
We just got to go Hawaii and just film this with him and see what he's doing. He's actually doing great shit though. Like he's helping like disabled children and like working with them like out in this
wow.
bungalow and what. That's why he's out there because he's
Okay.
like working with like less privileged people and whatnot.
Well,
And, like,
damn.
yeah. So really cool guy. Just shout out
Go
all
get him,
around.
Jim.
I love Jim Larson. Love his movie, and I love that now. Like he made this movie about a guy who has like butt crack demons that are turning people into zombies, just writing these hilarious songs. And I
Yeah.
think I asked him about that. I think he wrote all the songs, if I remember right.
That's amazing.
And then yeah, years later, he's just like, yeah, dude, I'm just chilling in this bungalow.
You know,
And I'm just
like you do sometimes.
helping disabled kids. Like he honestly fucking legendary, dude. Like the guy is a legend.
Sounds awesome to me.
The guy's a legend. Okay, class of Nukem High. They smoke some radioactive weed and they fuck and like they're just like, yeah, dude, radioactive. This movie actually, I mean, if I want to get really deep into it, this does mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because Ethan Hurt.
I was going to say it's more Ethan Hurt, right?
It is, and I mean it wraps around though because and it goes backwards because I love the movie first.
Yeah.
I love the movie Class of Nukem High. I thought it was really awesome, but what really drew it to me the first time I watched it was the intro, It was
Yeah.
like Nukem High. It's just awesome. And I remember when I first talked to Ethan too, like I'd have to hear the cadence right now to do it again. I'm bad if I haven't heard something immediately. We talked about this earlier actually. If you didn't just hear something, it's hard to do it.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first talked to Ethan Hurt too, and I'll do the explanation of who he is and all this in a second. He actually told me that I did it really well. He was like, yeah, you hit that shit. And I was like,
Nice.
thanks, Ethan. It's cool when the dude who made the voice, tells you that you hit
He's
that
like,
shit.
oh yeah, man.
He was like, yeah, you hit that shit. But no, he was actually kind of gushing over it too. He was like, that shit was sick as fuck. And I was like, yeah, you're cool. I was like, I like this. But Ethan Hurt made the intro music and like the theme music to Class of Nukem High, the Trauma movie. And years later, when I started Scream with Ash and Elena, my other horror movie podcast, originally it was just me and Elena in the beginning. And I was like, hey, we got to do like some really cool artwork, like get someone in the horror industry to do it. But like for the music, I was like, the music is really important.
Yeah.
And we got to get something cool as shit. And I reached out to Ethan Hurt. I was just like thinking about like all like the cool stuff. I was like, well, who's really cool in the horror community that can make something sick as fuck? And I thought immediately, like my first thought, and that's the coolest part about the story to me too, is that was my number one option. Like I had a couple backups.
That's what I was going to say.
That was my number one.
When you were telling me about this stuff in the moment of it happening.
Like while it was being planned.
Yeah. You were
before
like,
it ever came into fruition.
You were like, I'm going to try to get the guy who did the Nukem High music, but if I can't, like, I have other ideas.
XYZ, blah, blah, blah.
Boom, it happened.
And it happened.
You got your first choice.
He was cool as fuck. We like collaborated on it. Like we hopped on a FaceTime. I was out in LA like visiting my cousin at the time.
Oh yeah.
And like we were at a ramen place and he was like, yeah, like let's talk about this. And I was like, okay. I just like walked up to the side real quick, hop on a FaceTime with him.
Yeah.
And like we just like hit it off immediately. Just had like cool ass conversations and stuff. And he was just like, fuck yeah, like I want to do this. It sounds cool as shit. Like I told him the idea, I told him what I wanted, and then it just happened.
Awesome.
He made an awesome intro, and it's still our intro on Scream to this day, like 70 episodes later or something like that. Like 2 years later.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Ethan Hurt still texts me all the time too, and he like, get some cool shit going. I know he's doing a cameo on like some Trauma stuff now. I don't know if it has to be like probably coming out pretty soon at this point.
Yeah.
But he told me all about it. He was like, yeah, I'm doing this. And they want me to like, make a new song and this, that, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, sends me like his like new stuff he's working on, all this, and really cool. This poster is just falling at all times. But yeah, cool. Like, it's not really a story of what was going on at that time for that episode, but
sure.
just really cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Good fond memories of that.
Yeah.
And
Ethan
then
Hurt's
Ethan,
cool guy.
and then Ethan Hurd did the platform with me.
Yeah,
later.
that's right.
I guess I'll talk more about that when we get to the platform.
Yep.
But he did a Horror Soup episode with me later.
Yeah, fucking awesome, right?
God, that was. I have so many stories about that episode. If I'm being completely honest, like so many. Okay, what's episode 10?
So before you get to 10, because you didn't number the
It's
true
Philip Schwab.
crimes, is Philip Schwab.
This episode is interesting. This was the first Horror Soup episode ever without Brie.
Oh.
And honestly, there aren't many episodes that are just solo me in general, but this was like one of the first like episodes, like early on.
Yeah.
This case, this guy Philip Schwab was this piece of shit who murdered his girlfriend and his dogs. And the whole time, like while it was going on and like the aftermath and everything, and before he was caught, like he is just posting weird cryptic statuses on Facebook. Like not anything that's like Joker level or like cool villain like kind of shit. It's just like he thinks he's doing that, but really he's just a stupid little bitch sitting in his room just like, oh yeah, and you don't know what's in my backyard and stuff like that. Like it was just this little asshole. But it just happened like as I was looking into it, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. I got in a fucking loop where I was going through all of his Facebook posts and everything, and I was reading all of them, and I was like, okay, what does this mean? Because he was also just doing like some cryptic stuff that obviously meant something else. Like, was it clever? No. Did it like, mean something more than, know, what he was just typing? Yes. So that's why it interested me. And I called Brie and I was like, or I think I told her about it like as I was doing it or a little before or something. I was like, hey, I want to do this thing. Like, let's get this going, blah, blah, blah. But we had kind of a misunderstanding. And then by the time that like I messaged her, I was like, hey, so you want to do this right now? She was like, oh, you meant like right now, right now? She was like, I'm already drunk. So that's not happening. And I was like, all right, fair assessment. I'm just going to do this one on my own. And then we'll hit this up in a couple days. Like we'll reconvene soon. So yeah, that was the second true crime episode on Horror Soup. And also the first episode I did solo.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun doing that one. I mean, it was obviously, again, true crime, so it's fucked up. And I was like pissed as I was doing it. I was like at the edge of my seat, but it was a very interesting one because it was just a rabbit hole that I found myself in. And like, it was one of those first moments where I was like, oh shit, I want to do something and I'm just going to do it right now.
Yeah. Right.
So it was a creative
cool.
moment, I guess,
Yeah. 10, we have Tyler Hadley.
Okay, so there was another true crime.
Yeah, Tyler Hadley threw a murder party.
This one has another good story too, because actually, biggest inspirations when getting into podcasting, podcasting started with me listening to the last podcast on the left.
Yeah.
That was where I started. That was the first podcast that I listened to that I was like, oh yeah, I like this. Like maybe podcasting is cool.
Yeah.
Because at first I didn't understand what it was. I just kind of popped in, just started listening to some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then I listened to the horror show. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, that was what made me really want to make, like, a horror movie podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to Morbid, and I listened to the Tyler Hadley episode. I think that was the first one I listened to. And that was when I fell in love with, like, a different side of true crime podcasts. Because I listened to some true crime podcasts before, just, like, Serial and, stuff like that.
Sure.
Like, the very monotone stuff. And I was like, all right, this is, like, cool. They give me information. But I was like...
the more investigatory type stuff.
Yeah. But I was like, there's no heart to this. There's no, like... it doesn't feel like real people. Like, there might be real people talking, but it doesn't feel real.
Yeah, they're reporters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I listened to Morbid, and I was like, oh, so not only, like... because the horror show showed me that you can have a horror movie podcast, and it's not just you going in depth into horror movies and like getting real introspective and doing all this. Like you just be like, oh, this is a piece of shit. Yeah. And like, here's why I think you guys are assholes for making this piece of shit. And I was like, oh yeah, so like I can actually just record myself talking about movies the same way that I would with any of my friends in just a private conversation.
Right.
And then Morbid showed me, oh shit, you could talk about this true crime stuff, but also like talk about it the way that you would like with your friends, like anything else. And that was when I realized like, okay, I want to do both of this together. So 10 episodes in, that was just it. I was like, okay, well, the Tyler Hadley case, I thought that was fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. That was the episode that got me like into this, I guess, state of like not exactly true crime or horror, but just kind of like just wanting to do this podcast the way that we're doing it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Tyler Hadley, man.
Tyler Hadley.
We got distracted because Pepper is doing gymnastics.
I always get scared when Pepper starts doing gymnastics.
He's gonna do his thing. He's a strong man.
All right, next up, we're back to movies. It Follows.
It Follows is a good story too, because you know what? We did the Tyler Hadley episode because I was like, you know, this is really cool. This is the first like morbid episode that like, or not the, yeah, I think the first one I listened to, the first one that I was like, this is fucking awesome, and like we're doing this in light of that. The first Horror Soup episode that Elena ever listened to was the It Follows episode.
Oh, really?
Was the It Follows episode.
So, is there a reason why the descriptor for this one just says, this one's for the juggalos and juggalettes? Don't try this at home, whoop whoop.
Yes. 100%. And you would never know because I doubt we even talked about it in the episode. There's probably no way we did. Maybe we did. I don't remember that episode. But I know you lost me in the beginning. And then by the time it ended, you got me back around. There is this guy. Fuck, why am I blanking his name right now? I watched him for so long. That he was on Tosh.0 at a time.
Wow.
This guy, he before every stunt he does, he goes, this one's for the juggalos and the juggalettes, whoop whoop. And then he jumps off and he fucks himself up. It's this guy that like he's like he turned into like amateur wrestler kind of shit.
Oh yeah.
But he would like just record himself like doing stunts in his backyard where he would like jump off of like his porch or something. It started off his porch. He would like jump into like fucking a microwave or like fucking nails or like fucking RC cars or something like that, or pallets or whatever, light bulbs, like
just some of that like backyard wrestling type shit.
Yeah.
Why
am I blanking his name right now? Tough guy, can you please look this up? This is the moment where like you look that up. Can you look up this is for the juggalos and juggalettes, whoop whoop, because you'll get it from that. That's what that is though.
That's great.
We'll get back into that one, Tough guy.
I love that. But also It Follows is a Michigan product. And
it is.
And so is ICP.
Oh, I didn't put that together. That
all
was
came together, man.
That was an accident. That wasn't meant to happen. I was just really stoked on. I can't believe I'm blanking his name right now. I still follow him on Instagram. I still watch him sometimes. It's just been so long. I used to watch this guy's videos every fucking day, dude.
Yeah.
Me and Bree would like, because before every episode, not at all. Before every episode, me saying not at all was to whatever the producer just put on the screen. So me and Bree would just like drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
A lot of beer. Like the amount of beer we drank before every early Horror Soup episode was actually kind of crazy. We would buy like probably 8 to 10 tall cans.
Yeah.
And we would buy them to drink them during the episode, and we would 99% of the time finish them before we even got close to starting.
Oh my god.
So by the time we started every episode, we were superhuman. Superhuman with 2 M's.
Superhuman.
Look up Superhuman with 2 M's, and he will show you the greatest stunts in the world. There's some where he elbow drops a microwave, and that is the most brutal shit I've ever seen in my life. You see the microwave dent, and you just
there's
know
his Web Redemption Wednesday on Tosh.0.
Web Redemption Wednesday on Tosh.0. Yeah, man.
That's what we'll have to watch that later.
That's where we started like really popping, but after that, yeah, man, he's still doing it to this day, and that guy has fucked himself up many times. So honestly, like, I know he's not going to stop fucking himself up anytime soon, so just go watch him to support him, because really, like...
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
He's doing it for a reason, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, next up is Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko.
Or Bonnie Garko.
I guess...
Or Bobby Sharko. Or Johnny Malarco. All of these are listed in the description.
I think the funniest thing in the world to me and Bree is just when you call someone by their name that isn't their name. There was one day where me and Bree were just crying, calling Megan the Stallion like anything that wasn't her name. At one point, I got to Megan the Rapscallion, and now anytime I say that, Bree will just start crying for probably like 3 minutes until we can like move on from the conversation. There was one where we called like her like Megan in the inflatable car or something like that, or like or Megan in the Great Adventure. Like it gets to a point where like it starts out like rhyming and like kind of making sense,
right.
and it gets to a point where it's just unintelligible bullshit, but it's so funny to us. That's what that description is.
Okay, got it. You also say it's the greatest movie of all fucking time.
I really like Donnie Darko, and I have had pieces of shit like my friend Roland since, and also maybe you and maybe some other people who have like kind of just pointed out things to me about that movie or about Richard Kelly really more than anything
Yeah.
that have made me feel like that movie isn't as good as it is. But every time I've watched it, even after being told that, sometimes I'm like, oh fuck, maybe I'm gonna like this less. I never like it less.
I feel
love
like
it.
I should actually listen to this episode because you also say if you feel confused by the movie or never understood it, then this is the fucking episode for you.
That was my point of the episode, and honestly, I will still stand by and say that is, if not top one, at least top 3 most researched movie episodes that have ever been released on Horror Soup.
Yeah.
I would say one of the other ones is that Jason X one that we did together. That one I feel like we put a good amount into, and that one was really cool. There are a few others, but honestly, the one that I remember the most, like I remember spending probably like 20 hours or more on that episode.
Wow.
Because I
That's
was
a
just
lot.
like thinking about it on my own. I was looking shit up and looking up like other people's theories and like just I watched the commentary on it, you know, like in like the director's cut versus the regular cut and a bunch of shit. And really like the first half of that episode is us talking about the movie, but the second half is just explaining the movie and the world and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember when we started that episode, Bree was like, "Yeah, I've watched this movie before. I don't like it. I don't care about it. It's not interesting." And by the end of it, this is like a thing that I always like hold near and dear to me because I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I got that." At the end of it, Bree was like, "Okay, you sold me. Like I like this. Like I'm into this. That's cool as fuck." Like when you put it that way.
Man, that's a great feeling, and that's kind of how I've always felt about Donnie Darko. Well, I've only seen it once, and I didn't even see the whole thing. It was like I showed up at a party, they were watching it, and then I left before it was over. So I didn't see the beginning or the end. I just saw the middle, and I was like, "This is fucking dumb."
The first time I watched it, I was with my ex, and I think it's really just like the scene building is what brought me into it, and like the score of the movie, you know, it's just filled with tears for fears.
Yeah,
And also, like, I watched it at a time where like I wasn't super familiar with Tears for Fears, you know, like I'd listened to them and I'd heard them, and obviously, like, you know, when I'm younger, like you're gonna fucking hear Tears for Fears.
yeah.
But like I wasn't like into them like that. But when it popped on, and then they just put them all together, I was just like, oh yeah, this is fucking hitting. Like this is crazy. And early Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal, and then that episode, my fondest memory is Bree trying to gaslight me into thinking that Maggie Gyllenhaal was actually Kirsten Dunst. That's still my most fond memory of probably like anything in the world, because she was like, "No, yeah, that's for sure." Like she was like, "Kirsten Dunst did good in that movie," and I was like, "What are you talking about? She's not in that movie." And she went, "No, she is. She's Jake Gyllenhaal's Jake Gyllenhaal's sister." And I was like, "I don't think that's true. Like that's actually not true. I'm positive it isn't." And she like, this was a time where like, you know, we started to beef a little bit, you know, sometimes where we were just like, where I would be like, "No, that's not fucking true." And then she'd get pissed at me. She'd be like, "No, you know what? You always think it's not fucking true, whatever." And I was like, you know what? Like, I didn't want to go into that. So I was like, all right, you know what? You're probably right. Like, maybe I'm just being an asshole. You know, I'm wrong. Because I was like, I'm wrong a lot of times too. Like, I could just be wrong. And I was like, Kirsten Dunst probably is in this movie. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I turned it on. I was like, that's fucking Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Say it's also a pretty important trivia note that you would have to cover the fact that they're actually brother and sister. Like,
yeah. And honestly, even when I'm watching the movie, I think for like the first 10 minutes, like I was looking at it, I was like, no, I think that's Maggie Gyllenhaal. But then like, I just still wanted to think that Brie was right because I was like, I'm being an asshole.
like
And then like, I'm watching
I'll never second guess my assholery again.
and I was convincing myself as I was watching it that it was Kirsten Dunst, even though I knew it wasn't. And I was like, well, maybe it is. Like, maybe they just look like more alike than I remember them looking. And then what, like, as I'm getting through it, I was like, it's not fucking her. And then I looked it up and I was like, no, it's not. And I literally called her as I was watching the movie. I was like, you asshole. That's not her.
That's funny, dude.
So yeah, that Donnie Darko episode, awesome. And also, like, that was I didn't know that the It Follows episode was the first episode that Ash and Elena listened to, because when I first talked to them, it was on Twitter and it was just to the Morbid Podcast account. So I didn't know who I was talking to at first too. I was talking to Elena when I first talked to them, and Elena was the one who found Horror Soup and was like, you know, took an interest and whatnot. And then she told Ash about it, and then Ash liked it, and then me and Ash got really close. But in the beginnings, they were like, well, I posted like some depressing shit, and Elena was like, "No, don't kill yourself. Like, you're cool." And I was like, "Damn, maybe I shouldn't kill myself. I'm cool."
Yeah.
I guess. And then she was like, "Yeah, I listened to the Donnie Darko episode." But then later when we talked, she was like, "Yeah, I first listened to like the It Falls episode, but she was like, when I listened to the Donnie Darko episode, that's when I was like, this shit's cool.
Yeah.
This is good."
Yeah.
So yeah, like
That's really cool.
both very fond episodes, but yeah, that Donnie Darko episode, I feel like that was like. And that was like the first episode that we got like really, really, really good feedback from too.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
we got feedback from the other ones. It was really cool and really awesome to hear. But that one was the one that like people were like calling shit out and like, you know, saying like, "Oh, I didn't know this," or, you know, "This happened in this," and like, "This is a
Yeah.
cool part of the episode." That's not Kirsten Dunst. So that was a really cool episode. And that was what started the whole thing too, because there was like many episodes after that where Brie would be like, "I thought this person was that person." Everyone's like, what are you talking about, Brie?" Because I think that spawned the conversation too, where like she thought like Jennifer Love Hewitt was like fucking I don't know, like who's the chick who makes the Friday song?
Rebecca Black.
That's not what happened, but I'm just putting something outlandish out there
Got
just
it.
to like, you
Okay.
know. No, I think
yeah,
she thought like it was Anne Hathaway and someone else. I can't remember who it was.
Oh.
She put Anne Hathaway with someone who like doesn't look anything like Anne Hathaway, and everyone was like, "Wait, are you sure though?" But we had all these conversations, and it started with me doing people that shouldn't be confused, but I confuse anyway too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next movie was The Craft.
Well, this is all tying together again because
I know, right?
again, we had something else planned. What was the next movie?
The next movie?
Yeah.
Twilight.
We had Twilight planned, I think. I think Twilight was the next one we had planned. And then, or maybe it was something else. Actually, that almost seems off. It might have been something else. But that was when we were getting really close to Ash and Elena. And they were like, they posted it on their story, you know? And they were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Horror Soup should do The Craft." And that's actually still in their, I think it's still in their highlights.
In their highlights?
To this day, I think. I don't think they have many highlights, but I think if you go to the Morbid Podcast page, sorry, I have hiccups and burps. Right now, let's see. Are there still highlights there? Yeah, so there's some other highlights in front of it, but if you scroll to the end right there, it says The Craft, and it just says Horror Soup Podcast. We need you to
only
cover
reason.
this gem. Yeah, it's just there for that.
Just
And then
that.
and then it's just a bunch of shit about The Craft. So yeah, like very early on, and this
was
was
funny.
wow. We'd probably get some more traction from this thing if we didn't change our name after, because this is when our name was still Horror Soup Podcast.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it changed after that. People probably click on it now and they're just like,
Goes to a
"Well,
dead
this
link."
doesn't exist."
Yeah.
Maybe we should have kept it there. But yeah, they were like, "Hey, do The Craft." And you know, at the time, like, I mean, I guess not at the time, because I mean, they still are. I fucking love the fuck out of them. It's just different because they're my friends now.
Sure.
But you know, it went from them being my idols to like some of my best
Yeah.
friends. So like at the time, like I was like, "Oh, these are my idols. Of course I'm gonna fucking do this." But
Right.
realistically, if they called me right now and they were like, "Hey, do The Craft too," I'd be like, "Okay, let's do The Craft too." Like, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
So yeah, that's where that went.
So yeah, so the next one's Twilight, which is a drinking game episode.
That was a drinking game episode. That was where, for a while, damn, I forgot about this. Ridiculous, I think, was the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Was it ridiculous?
Eerie fucking sponsible.
No, it was irresponsible. That's what it was. Because we were watching this movie. Brie left halfway through this episode. Not like that. She didn't get pissed off and leave. But she left because we were all drunk and like we were taking too long. And then she had to like pick up her daughter. Just so, like,
Y'all just got too drunk.
so she left. But me and my friend Maria, this was the first appearance from Maria.
Yeah, first
Who
Maria episode.
was this the beginning? Was that this beginning of the episode where I said we almost had a new host?
Yeah.
Maria was almost the second host of Horror Soup.
Well, there it is, guys. If you didn't know.
For people that didn't know, I'm sure like if you listened to the show at the time, you kind of knew it
You
was
probably
going
had an
that
idea,
way.
yeah.
I mean, like she was on like 8 episodes in a row, and we were doing video shit like every week and
Right.
whatnot. It was a whole thing. But then she got pregnant, and then she moved to Washington.
Yeah.
So
And that's
but
why we said, hey, things happen.
things happen. But she's out there living her best life. Her baby has so much hair. beautiful.
That's a good thing.
And yeah, they're out there living their best life. It's fucking awesome. And I mean, she's still gonna visit, and she's gonna be on the show eventually.
Yeah,
we
for
still
sure.
talk, and she's fucking awesome. But Maria was gonna be like, she was like the first. I mean, we had a guest on because at the time you won't see it on the feed right now, but we had a show called Short Stuff and like other things that were on the feed earlier.
Yeah.
Some of those things got
I
deleted because
remember that
early on
stuff.
in the show, I was just like, I had weird things where I was like, oh, this can't be on here because if people see it, they're not gonna like keep listening to the show and like this,
Yeah.
that, whatever. I just thought that like they weren't professional enough or something.
Right.
So all those episodes, they are available on patreon.com/horrorsoup, but all those things were removed from the main feed. So we did have a guest before that. It was our friend Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
And she was on like a horror trivia thing we did. But those early, I think that's probably why I started deleting shit because those early horror trivia episodes.
Yeah, rough stuff.
God, it was rough. We didn't know shit.
Yeah.
Like, we watched horror movies and stuff, but it was like, we just watch horror movies for the fuck of it. We didn't know anything. We sound like idiots.
As
in
soon as you
terms
start
of
looking at
anything.
some of those trivia games, you're like, oh no, I don't know shit.
And it was just like, but it was simple stuff early on that we were just not getting. That it was like, oh, we should have known that, but it was like, we
Yeah.
don't know the names of shit. We were just like, yeah, we've watched these movies, but we never looked into them.
Yeah.
We're just idiots talking about fucking movies. We're just like, oh yeah, we like this or we hate this. This is
Yeah.
why. But yeah, Maria was the first guest. We did Twilight. Brie left halfway through the episode. I think me and Maria, or her and Maria, were sharing a mic for the first half, and then after that, it was just me and Maria. And then yeah, I kept calling everything that happened irresponsible, and for a while that was a thing. Like that was a thing.
Irresponsible.
Like people were commenting on stuff all the time. And they were like, irresponsible. It never stuck because I don't think I ever said it again after that episode. It was just something in the moment, but I think that was really funny, and that's something that I also hold near and dear just because
You gotta bring that back.
that was
Put
the first
on a,
thing,
Put that on
you know?
a t-shirt.
That was
Horror
the
soup,
first thing that
irresponsible.
people ever said. They were like, irresponsible. That was the first
like that.
slogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That was the first one.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And you know what? Shout out to Lala. Lala, if you're still listening, I think you are. I'm sure you are. She's been here since the very beginning, and she was the one really pushing that. Like, I know that she got a kick out of the irresponsible. She was like, irresponsible. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Nice. Next movie was Cabin in the Woods.
Ah, yeah, I threw Brie another bone. She wanted to do that one. I told her I hated that movie, and I did hate it. I hated it for so long.
Yeah?
And then we watched it again for the episode, and I realized I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
realized that I was a hater when I first watched that, a huge hater. And looking back on it even further now, I don't remember how I felt about it in that moment. I think I gave it a lot of praise in that episode, but I still feel like I was probably still a hater a little bit. I don't know, because that movie's really good.
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
It's fucking awesome. Like, it's...
That's one that I recommend to people when they're like, I don't like horror movies. I'm like, watch this one.
And for someone that loves like B-rated horror movies and always has, like, I mean, my love for it has grown a lot
Yeah.
over the past like 5-7 years or whatever, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always had a love for like bad horror movies. I mean, Satan's Little Helper is something that I've been watching like for fucking ever, and that shit's terrible.
Sure.
But I feel like I should have appreciated Cabin in the Woods a lot more for what it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
I did not.
It's a good movie, man.
Chris Hemsworth is the one who slams his bike into that force field, right?
Chris Hemsworth, man.
I feel like it's stuff like that I didn't appreciate at the time. Because that's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Well, and then they just go into all the little things because they, altered all of their brain chemistries to make them like fit the archetypes that they were supposed to fit. Because like Chris Hemsworth, like his character wasn't even supposed to be like a dumb jock. Like he was a smart guy. He was like can't remember what it was. He was like a sociology fucking guy or something like that. But they were like pumping him full of the testosterone and stuff to make him all aggro and shit.
Yeah,
So
that
he
was good
behaved
stuff.
completely differently. No, man, I love that movie.
That was good stuff. What is the description for that one?
What is down, guys? I think the title pretty much tells you what we're discussing. Are you ready for unicorns, mermen, and a cabin? No? Well, go fuck yourself.
See, and this is where I messed up early on because we used to name all the episodes like fun
Not
names
the
and stuff
name,
like that. It was
yeah.
like something different. And at a time, it was again like back to the thing where I George Lucas the bitch and I started deleting old stuff and like getting rid of stuff and switching
there.
it up. And I switched it up because I was like, oh, this is stupid. Like, people are going to be able to get to the episode a lot better if it's just the name
Right.
of the movie. I don't think that's true. I don't think that matters.
I don't.
I think it's more fun that I used to name them some shit. Because what I remember
You might
about
be
this
right.
Cabin in the Woods one, it was named something like "There's a fucking merman" or something like that. I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but it was something about the fact that there was a merman in the episode,
Yeah.
and that's not there anymore. Like, even the butt crack episode, I think it's just called butt crack, right?
Yeah.
It was like churn the milk and make it butter. ... It's butt crack. That one I
Which
remember
is way
specifically.
funnier.
Some of them I remember a lot more, and I'm not gonna go back now at this point and then redo it again
Redo it
because
again.
that's disingenuous. You know, going back
Yeah.
and like renaming it something goofy, like for what I remember it being instead of
Right.
like what it was in the moment. I wish I had an archived thing of like what the names were at the time. I might be able actually. If I go to like stories and stuff, I might be able to see shares,
Pull some of them,
and then
yeah.
name some of those back. Like if I can find exactly what they were named in the past, I would go back and put that back on
Mm-hmm.
just to like kind of try to make it, what it was.
Yeah.
But I won't rename them. But I do like going forward now. If you guys have noticed in the newer episodes, in the last like probably just 3, trying to do that again
Yeah.
because honestly, that was like, it's weird because as the podcast started becoming something more than just a podcast, I feel like I wanted to make it more marketable and make it more like, like just easily digestible and like stuff like that and a lot of things. And I had all these grand ideas of what that was.
Yeah.
But really, what made the podcast so fun and so good in the beginning, or at least what I think, is the fact that we did all that fun stuff. It was that me and Brie like named it weird shit. We had fun writing the descriptions and stuff because we thought it was funny.
Yeah.
We thought it was interesting, and it kind of turned to something else for a while. And I think there are good parts of that because really, I don't think podcasting would be my full-time job now
Sure.
if I didn't go that route. But there are also a lot of things that I missed from going that route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's ups and downs, but now that it is, I feel like now that things have moved past and it is my full-time job and I have the time to just kind of like, fuck with shit now, I feel like we can get back to that.
Yeah.
And we could do all that fun stuff again, all the weird fucking around stuff that like I liked doing before.
Yeah.
You know?
How long you want these to be? We want to check on time?
What time is it right now, buddy? We're about an hour in, huh?
We're at 1:51, which is like an hour and 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I think we're about an hour because I think we started at like 1:40. It's
Yeah, that's what I was
2:40 now,
thinking too,
so
yeah.
we can keep going.
Okay, cool.
An hour and a half or so, maybe, and then
Say
like
we're at 15. Maybe we can try to get to like 25 or so.
yeah, and then wow, we're gonna do more of these than I thought. Holy shit!
Yeah, we're only at 15.
Maybe it'll get less memorable after a while.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
You might get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't remember the next
this
7.
sucks. This episode's stupid.
Well, the next one's Leprechaun 3.
Oh, yeah. I had this thing where I didn't want to do the first one of like any movie.
Yeah,
I just thought it would be way more fun if we didn't.
that sounds like you.
And I was right because Leprechaun 3 is fucking hilarious. That's the one where he goes to Vegas and everyone hates that movie. That's why I wanted to do it too because I watched when we started the show early on. Like I was like, all right, I gotta watch every horror thing that I either haven't watched in a long time or I've never seen.
Yeah.
And I bought the Leprechaun like Blu-ray bundle that had all of them on it. I watched all of them in a day,
Yeah.
which is crazy when I think about it.
It's absolutely insane.
It's insane.
But it just sounds so much like you. It makes so much sense to me.
I didn't watch them on my TV. I was sitting in a computer chair, just sitting in front of a computer monitor, and I watched every single one of them one by one. And I'm not mad about it. I had the best time. I was giddy. Like, I was having the best.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't seen these since I was a fucking kid. I don't remember anything about these.
Yeah.
Had a great time. And in the end, I was like, I think 3 would be the most fun to talk about.
Wow.
So I said, let's do 3. And it's all about this fucking dumbass kid who's in Vegas. It honestly reminds me a lot, in hindsight, of Amityville 2: The Possession. It's like the
okay.
Leprechaun version of Amityville 2: The Possession, but in Vegas. And it blew me away. It's a crazy movie. That's all I have to say about that one. But it was awesome. Brie was just like, why are we doing 3? And I was like, it's fucking funny.
You also drop a little hint here in the description because you say, yeah, we skipped Leprechaun and Leprechaun 2 and we did Leprechaun 3.
I
You're
remember the name
welcome.
of the original name of this episode.
You do?
Yes. for pulling this trick. I'll chop off your dick. I remember that one.
That's pretty
That's
gold,
the
actually.
best line in the movie, and honestly, a great name for an episode. I can't believe I actively sat there, and
Look
in
at
my
you.
head, I went, I'm going to take all of these names off of. I just sat there, and I deleted all of those fun names
How
that we
could
thought
you?
of in the moment that were so good.
It's awful.
I think the Donnie Darko name, the episode was called like Donnie Sharko or something like that. I think we called it Donnie Sharko.
Makes a lot of sense too, actually.
Wow.
So anyway, you said, hey, what's next? Spider-Man 3? Who fucking knows? I love that. We're already dropping Spider-Man 3 hints.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't like laugh or like make a podcast noise that you're supposed to in that moment.
Yeah,
I
you
was smoking.
bitch. Tough guy didn't help either.
It's okay.
Dude, back in the day, I would have freaked out about that. I would have been like, dead air, dead air. Now I'm like, who cares about the fucking dead air? You're going to get the point. Now I'm like, I want podcasting to feel as fluid as possible. I want to fuck up now because I'm like, that's podcasting, baby.
Yeah.
Especially now that we're doing video shit, I'm just like, well, if you're having trouble with audio, go watch the fucking video and you'll get it. That's my way to plug the video shit.
There you go.
We got, you know what? It's crazy that like, it's crazy how many more listeners we have on audio shit than viewers that we have on video.
I
Like,
know.
it's like night and fucking day where like we get like maybe barely breaking like 100 or like 100 or more, like maybe a couple hundred on the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Then you go to the audio and it's like thousands,
Yeah.
thousands of downloads on the video. Like, dude, we don't even have 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. I've had it for like 4 years. To be fair, do I advertise it enough and plug it the way I should? No.
No.
But-
you know, until now you didn't have like a solid setup to do it consistently either.
I
so.
want the listeners to flock.
You got it now. You got it now. We're building content there.
Weekly YouTube videos, baby.
Yeah, if they
It's
build
happening.
it, if we build it, they will come, right? We'll keep making it.
We're making cool stuff. So what's next?
The next movie is Frankenhooker.
Oh, the name of this one was like something about a platter of nipples, a platter of boobs.
Love platters.
It was like Frankenhooker has a platter of boobs, something like that.
Yeah, you say pile of boobs.
Pile of boobs.
It says utterly awesome. This both describes the movie and the pile of boobs that go along with it.
Utterly awesome.
Yep.
Maximum buoyancy. That's all I have to say about this episode. Bree loved Frankenhooker. I love Frankenhooker. I think we both gave it like 5 stars or something like that. Like in the
Frankenhooker
moment.
loves
It's-
Frankenhooker. Come on.
Dude, I mean, that's fucking Frank Henenlotter, dude.
It's everything.
Frank Henenlotter is a genius.
Yeah.
I love everything that man has ever put out. Everything. I don't think he's ever put out anything that I'm like, it's not that great.
Yeah.
Everything he does is incredible.
Legend.
God, great.
Next up is Mars Attacks.
Yeah, I think me and Bree kind of like mutually came to this one.
Yeah.
We were kind of, I think this was around the point where I was like, all right, maybe you're right. Maybe better movies are doing the thing. And then we kind of did a happy medium where it was still kind of goofy and like, you know, fond memories of the movie,
Right.
but it was still fairly popular.
Yeah.
I just love watching Jack Nicholson look a fool. Because he has that, like, you know, you remember his character in Mars Attacks, right?
Man, I haven't
He has, like,
seen
the long
Mars Attacks in
hair
a
and, like, he's
long
hanging out at the
time.
pool, and then he's also, like, the president.
Oh, yeah.
He's a few different characters.
Yeah, I was
in the
thinking of
movie.
him as the president.
There's a few different, and Ack.
Ack.
That's what we named that episode. It was like Ack.
It's
Mars
gotta be.
Attack. That was-
Ack. Mars Attack.
So that one I don't regret deleting.
Here we go. Hereditary.
Yeah, okay. You want to talk about throwing Brie a bone? I fought her very hard on this.
Oh, really?
I didn't want to talk about it.
Damn.
I figured people were just going to get pissed off because I was like, you know, all I'm going to do is say I hate this more than anything in the world. At this point, I had already watched the movie 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
She wanted me to watch it again and take notes on it and then talk about it. And I was so sad. I was so sad. I hated every second of it. But that was our most popular episode to date, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not like to this day, but at the time,
Yeah.
that was definitely like our most popular episode.
Your description is some people love it, some absolutely loathe it. We all choose a side in this hit or miss horror movie.
Man, my descriptions were way better back in the day. It's because I used to sit around and I thought
You
about
thought
them.
about them? You
I
probably
sat-
thought about them way too hard.
I did, but honestly, I kind of like how they came out. They're fun.
Yeah. Next up is your Caleb and Bree's superhero origin story.
That was just how me and Bree met. You know, that was just
Yeah.
a fun loving episode. You know, it was just
Love an episode.
it was our backstory, and I can't say anything about that episode that the episode doesn't say for itself.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
that makes sense.
That episode speaks for itself.
If you want to know more about that, just go listen to that episode.
because that's the
It's
episode.
an hour and 28 minutes of the origin story. So
Yeah, and that
That's
was the
good shit.
episode that we did to just explain what horror soup is and why it is and
Yeah.
why we were what we were. You know, so like that episode, it's self-explanatory. Go
Yeah.
listen to it.
No,
It's-
that's good.
I'm glad that was one of them that I didn't delete.
Yeah. No,
You
I'm
know?
glad that's there too. Number 20 is Friday the 13th, Part 3.
This was just the same thing as the Leprechaun 3 story. I didn't want to do the original. I thought part 3 seemed more fun.
Part 3 is fun. I like Part 3.
We thought that we had to do one of like the big horror, you know, things. And we were
Yeah.
like, all right, we got to do it. And I was like, I'm not doing the one where his mom's just fucking running around. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you got to do one with Jason actually in it.
Yeah, I was
right?
like, it's fine. And I was like, I want Jason. I was like, well, realistically, I want to do Sackhead Jason. He's my favorite. But I think 3 is just all around just a pretty fun one.
yeah, it's
You got
pretty fun.
Shelly running around, you know, and he's wearing his fucking like masks and shit, or like his disguises
Yeah.
and pranking people.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, nah, 3's good.
So we did 3. Yeah, I don't remember anything too crazy about that one. I don't remember what we named it. I think we were really drunk for that episode. We probably were really drunk. Me and Bree were drinking so many micheladas around this time, man.
Yeah, I was going to say this. I think this was the Michelada era. I think I remember this is
Fuck yeah, this was
pretty
the
close
Michelada
to
era.
whenever we met. We're getting close to that
The
point.
whole me and Bree era was the Michelada era. We would drink 5 tall cans and then record. They were all crazy. And now when people are just like, oh, like when they review something, they're like, oh, they're drunk in some episodes. I'm like, I don't know if you realize this, but the first 70 episodes, we are plastered. And I will tell you, I am much more wasted in any of those than I have been in any episode since.
Yeah,
Probably ever.
yeah.
I'd get more drunk for those episodes
was
than
gonna
I
say,
would like
even
doing
when-
anything else in my life.
So even whenever we've done episodes where we've been drinking, that we've never done an episode that bad.
No. Me and Brie would get drunk.
Yeah,
Like it would be the end of the episode and she would be like, well, fuck, I can't leave
right.
for like 3 hours. And we would literally sit around and like take a nap or like fucking watch some movies or something like
Right,
after
right.
that and fuck around because she'd be fucking wasted.
And I pulled up in a Fiji, this a lean water.
Shout out Casher
Oh
Kwan.
my god.
All right.
Good timing. Good timing, tough
Wow.
guy.
Hey,
Good
so
timing.
Twitch stream just crashed. It's gone
Oh shit.
forever.
All right.
Like it just said it crashed?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it is, right?
I mean, you can start up again if you want, but record.
I've been working on it.
the
It's not happening.
Oh, that sounds weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, the recording's still going, right?
Yep, we're still good.
Okay. It never stopped?
No.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. Whatever.
Next up is William Lester Suff.
True crime.
Yep.
Very.
Bill Suff.
This one was crazy. We went really hard on this one, and like I read a book about it. I bought the Riverside Killer book, read it, did a bunch of research online. But the thing is, he was a killer in Riverside, California, which is where we are from. We live in a city over from Riverside,
Yeah.
and we went over there to like visit a bunch of the grave sites of like where victims were
Really?
killed and stuff like
You
that.
did real research.
Yeah, like we took pictures. We went to like the police station and like talked to like people about
Yeah.
like asked them if like they were around the time of when it happened and stuff like that and
Yeah.
everything. And we got farther into it. We talked to one of our friends, and he let us know that he was like, "Oh, it's crazy you guys are doing true crime shit now." Blah blah. He was like, my aunt was actually killed by a serial killer, and we're like, "Whoa, holy shit! Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's crazy. That's insane." And then he was like, "Yeah, it was this guy, William Suff," and we were like, "What the fuck?" like we're researching that man right now,
That's
about to do an episode on it,
crazy.
and it goes farther. And then we were like, well, yeah, we just went to like the app or like the orange orchards and like shit like that, and like took pictures of this, that, blah blah blah. And then we were like, what was your aunt's name? He said the name, and that was the last grave site that we, or not grave site, but like site of the kill, like site where she was found.
Yeah.
We were literally like 30 minutes before we talked to him. We were at the spot where his aunt was murdered.
That's insane.
So it was just like a very weird turn of events.
Yeah.
Very crazy. Like we literally like had pictures of it, and he like asked us after. He was like, "Oh, can you show me that and whatnot?" And we were like, "Yeah." And like, yeah, we had like pictures of like where it happened and everything. We were right there. And I remember while we were there too, I looked at Bree and like we looked at each other. We were like, "This, I don't know what it is about this one, but this one feels very eerie.
Yeah.
Like there's something weird about this."
That's wild, man.
Yeah. So that's what happened with those ones.
Okay.
And I think that was probably the last true crime shit for a while until True Crime Thursdays. I think maybe the last one. I feel like it was.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We'll figure it out later, but yeah.
After between there, you got you've got
So it
one
was a
that's just
two-parter.
yeah, you've got one that's just Caleb and Bree's drunken tales.
That's what it sounds like.
And then when we get back to movies, it's 23. We're looking at Babadook.
Baba Duck. Duck. Duck.
That's pretty much it, right?
Fuck that kid. Fuck that kid to this day.
That kid is a monster.
To this day, I'm sure I'd be fine with the movie, and I will never want to deal with that kid again. Actually, I might go harder on that movie now that I did in the past.
I think I would too.
I don't know if I can stand that kid as much as I did then. I didn't like him. The only thing that I was talking shit about that whole episode was how much that a kid annoyed me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I actually might hate the movie more than I did
Yeah.
back then
I
because
think I've
of him.
watched it a couple times since I really liked it the first time I watched it. And any time that I've viewed it since then, I've liked it less and less and less.
It's because that kid's just fucking in the back. Just screaming.
It's the worst.
I
It really
hate
is
it.
the worst.
I hate it so much.
It's awful.
But I don't know. I remember liking that movie, so I haven't seen it since we did that episode.
I know.
So I really don't know, but
I think
yeah.
that movie has a like diamond in the rough quality about it because I don't think at the time we were getting a lot of good horror movies.
It was what, like 15, 16?
Yeah, something like that.
14.
14.
I watched that in theaters.
And I think that it was just
That had a
the
theater
scene
release in the
sucked.
US?
Yeah, I watched it in
I didn't even
theaters.
know that.
I didn't know that either. I thought it only released in Australia in the theaters. I mean Netflix. It got on Netflix. That's what really set it off. Your next one is Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies.
What can be said about that right now that wasn't said
Yeah.
in the Krampus episode that we did later? I feel like we kind of just gushed about Trick or Treat a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that Trick or Treat's just awesome, dude. It has Sookie Stackhouse in it.
Yeah.
That's my only takeaway. I'm done.
But also interestingly, as the opposite of what she is.
The very opposite.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
Kinda
weird seeing her
crazy.
as a werewolf,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But I love Anna Paquin, man.
You actually did two of my favorites in a row because your next one's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
This also goes into the threes thing. I really like threes.
It's
I feel
funny because you did that. I've made that a statement of
Yeah.
being like, oh, threes are always the best, and it's not always true because you've got like fucking Child's Play 3. But in a lot of cases, the threes of a lot of series are pretty damn good.
I like threes, but I feel like threes are very hated, and maybe they're not always the best, but I feel like threes are usually when you're either solidifying yourself as something really fucking cool and good,
Yeah.
or you're probably at least considering going into the fuck it territory and things are getting weird.
Those are the two places you could be.
Yeah, and like either way, I'm not too mad at it. Unless you steer far away from both of those topics,
Right.
then threes are pretty fucking good.
Yeah, man.
I love
Nightmare
threes.
on Elm Street 3, Halloween
Dude,
3.
Dream Warriors is fucking
Come
awesome,
on.
dude. Like, it's one of the best.
It is.
What are some other threes? Can you look up horror movie threes, tough guy, while we go into the next one?
I've
just
always
put it on the
wanted
screen
to do
over here
it
and we'll
like
get
an
into it.
episode on like
On just
three
threes.
movies.
Well, that's
Scary
something we
Movie
could do.
3.
Scary Movie 3 is good.
So good. That's a really good one too. Yeah, well, we could go ahead and spoil this. We want to do something where we do like directors and actors, and like
Yeah.
we just go into that. That's something we could do too.
Threes.
We could do, but just numbers in general. You know,
That's
you got
true.
horror movie like first, you got the seconds, you got the
Seconds.
thirds. That'd be a really fun series to
Just
do.
really examine how people handle the transition from sequel to sequel.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you're gonna see some patterns throughout that,
Oh,
like
for
from
sure.
director to director, series to series.
Yeah, that could be really interesting.
I would love to do that, and we're starting with the threes.
Yeah.
We got to start with the threes.
I love threes.
Put it on the screen, tough guy, so I could see all the. I want to see all the threes. I want to see it. Okay, what else we got?
I want to see it.
Look, I think your internet is.
Do you unplug something?
No, I haven't moved.
Oh, okay.
Next up's The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. We did that. We did do that.
You did The Exorcist.
I forgot about that. That was Brie.
Here's The Sexorcist. Is what it says.
Yeah, we thought that was funny. Yeah, we did The Exorcist. I think that was the first time I ever saw The Exorcist. I might have seen pieces of it when I was a kid.
I know this isn't necessarily about my opinions, but fun fact, I don't
No, I
think
want-
it's that great.
I want your opinions. I like it.
I think The Exorcist is like one of those classics that's kind of overrated.
I think it's a little overrated, maybe not as much as some other classics, but what other movie at that time is saying your mother sucks cocks in hell?
It's true.
I don't know, man. And Linda Blair, I love Linda Blair. No, I'm sorry, it's not overrated. I'm not gonna give it to that. I'm not gonna give it to that.
That's fair.
We can't do that.
Most people disagree with me whenever I say that.
Brie, I just remember Brie telling me that The Exorcist is probably her favorite movie of all time. Like
Yeah.
one of them. Like top. Like her favorite movie of all time is Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I know The Exorcist is very much up there. So, yeah, man. The Exorcist. I keep saying yeah, man, at the end of all these.
Sexorcist.
I gotta
Yeah,
stop
man.
saying that.
Yeah, man. Next up, 27. We're on Night of the Demons.
Oh, okay. So now I'm catching the pattern. At this point in the movie, it was going back and forth. Brie was doing a pick, I was doing a pick, and back
okay,
and forth and
yeah.
whatnot. Which probably should have just been where it was in the beginning, but that's not where I was. I was like, no, we got to do this, we got to do that. So now I was like, nah, you're right. I'm not right all the time. Like, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, got to do a Linnea Quigley movie, right?
Dude. The lipstick around the nipple. Okay, so that's something that I think I haven't done a lot, like, through this, too. Like, how I would feel about them to this day, you know? Like, in
Yeah.
comparison. Maybe I probably have, just, like, casually talking
Yeah, a
about
couple
them.
of them. Yeah.
I would still love that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
I don't know exactly that I don't want to talk about it again, but I wouldn't mind talking about it again. I wouldn't be mad at it. It's not
Have
something
you
that
ever
I'm,
done the
like,
sequel?
itching to do. No. Or there's a reboot, too, also, right?
Yeah.
There's a sequel and there's a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a sequel reboot, right? There's just the one.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't watch the reboot, but I've seen Demons 2.
Is it good?
It's not bad.
I think I watched
It's
some of
fun.
it, but it doesn't have the main cast, does it?
No, it's all fucked up.
Yeah. Like
You-
Quigley
you-
isn't in there, and then what's her face
No.
isn't in there either. The
Mm-mm.
main, I can't remember her name right now.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, that's tough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just thought that was a fun movie. I don't have much of a story of that one. I don't remember anything specific that really stood out from that episode, you know, like while we were recording.
Yeah. Next one's VHS.
Yeah, I remember a lot about that one. That one pissed me off. That one really pissed me off. I was so excited to do that episode. Brie was really excited too.
Yeah.
We did it. And this was the first time I've been recording on Audacity, which is my audio editing software, like recording software to record the podcast.
Yeah.
I've been recording on that since the very beginning. This was the first time I ever tried to venture out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded it and I saved it on whatever it was. I can't remember what I moved to next.
Sure.
And it didn't save. Like, it just fucked up. Like, I opened it up.
It's just fucked.
I opened up the save file that was there, and it was just, like, blank tracks.
Damn.
And I was like, what the fuck? I tried everything to find it.
Yeah.
It was gone. And I had to call Brie, and I was like, this episode didn't record. And she went, well, I can't record this. And, like, by the time we get to, like, this day, like, by the time we get to the money, because it
Right.
was, like, a couple days away. She's like, I can't do this again right now. And I had to get this guy, Tony, to hop in
Yep.
and do it. You know, shout out Tony. I don't have anything against Tony, really.
Shout out Tony.
It's fine. But I just like that episode for what it was in the beginning. And it makes me very sad that it was lost.
That you don't have
because
that.
I remember that being a very funny episode. Like,
Yeah.
we finished recording it and we were like, this is fucking good.
Though it's always that with the ones you lose. You never lose one that you're like, yeah, I didn't give a fuck about that.
Nope. It was so good. Like, I remember us going like, this is one of the funniest episodes.
Yeah.
Because I remember us getting to like, I don't remember if that's the first segment or whatever, but the one with the succubus. I don't remember what jokes we were telling, you know. I can't fucking recall that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I remember us laughing a lot at the jokes we were telling. So I just feel like that was a good episode. So yeah, I'm sad about that one.
Yeah.
But I remember it fondly, if you want to call it that.
It's a good one. Next up, you get All Hallows Eve.
Wow. Damien Leone.
Here we are.
I didn't realize we did it that early on.
You did.
This was, if I remember right, this was the start of our Halloween month. Or no, we're already in the Halloween
Yeah, we've
month.
been
This
in it for a
started
bit.
with Halloween 3, didn't it?
Yeah.
Or no, Trick or Treat.
Trick or treat. Spooky season is here. You said spooky season is here.
If you look at the that pisses me off.
I
you-
know it does.
if you-
but you
I-
typed it.
That might have even been Bree who typed that, if I'm being completely honest. I might have, because some of those I was like, hey, what do you want to write? And I was like, all right, fucking whatever. I don't think that was me. I legitimately do not think that
spooky
was me.
season is here.
So, if you look at the dates for these, we went fucking hard
You did,
this
man.
month. We were doing
October
2.
1st, October 5th, October 7th, October 12th, October 14th, October 19th, October 21st, October 24th, October 26th, October 28th, October 31st.
We were putting out 2 fully watched, researched movie episodes out a week
That is insanity.
for the month of October. And also that month, that's when we were doing 1 Twilight Zone a week, 1 Tales from the Crypt a week,
Dude, that's a lot of fucking
Like-
content.
a bunch of other shit. We were doing a lot of stuff at that time.
Yeah.
We were like, it was like, you know, we just started podcasting and we had like that grind, like mindset.
And
Like
you were just deep enough in your episode count that like you'd started building like an audience, and it's like, no, now we gotta go hard.
That's exactly what it was. That's what I told Bree.
Yep.
I like, again, like we talked about it a bit in the beginning, but
And
I
that's,
was like, dude, what was that?
and that's how you drove her away.
Yeah, you're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. That's exactly that's what I was trying to hint at. I just didn't want to say it out loud. But that is what happened. I mean, I think me and Bree talked about that on the Nightmare on Elm Street, like, you know, like episode, the fucking episode 100 or whatever.
yeah.
We talked about that because that is what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
Just
happened.
going too hard.
But I told her, I was
Burned
like,
out.
dude, we're getting this momentum. We got to go hard right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is the moment. And like I said, you know, it's might have caused problems, but you know what? Here I am, baby. Yeah, man. God damn it. I need to stop saying yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So that was episode 30.
Yeah, man. That was 29 was All Hallows Eve, and then 30 was Terrifier.
It was Terrifier.
Yeah.
What do I have to say except I love Damien Leone and I love Art the Clown. This is when we had the whole thing, and
So
the
good.
original name of this episode was Art the Clown, or is he a mime, or like is
Right,
Art the
right.
Clown a mime, or something like that? Is he? I think it
Art
was
the Mime.
I think it was Art the Clown. Is he a mime or a clown?
It's a great
Or
question.
Terrifier. Is Art the Clown? Is Art a mime or a clown? It was
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
I don't even know if All Hallows Eve had one. That's part of the game too, seeing if I can remember what the episode was named.
Yeah, well, the next one's called A Very Animated Horror Halloween.
I don't remember if Bree was gone for
No,
this
Brie
one.
was gone.
No, I know she was gone, but I don't know like
Oh, yeah,
why exactly. But it was me and Roland, and we just watched all of the South Park Halloween episodes, but we
Nice.
missed one of them. But we also watched some Treehouse of Horror.
Nice.
We pretty much just watched like Treehouse of Horror and a bunch of South Park Halloween stuff,
Yeah.
and just talked about it. I thought it was pretty fun.
Look at you, number 31, John Carpenter's Halloween.
And John Carpenter's Halloween, number 31. Was
Look
that
at
the
you.
last Halloween episode of that month, too?
31.
No,
It wasn't?
You weren't that good.
Damn, I thought we were like, I knew we were trying to do something
You were
like
pretty
that, but
good. You weren't quite that good.
I think we saw that it wasn't going to happen, so we were just like, all right. Wait,
Yeah.
wait,
Well,
so
'cause
we
you
did
did-
another Halloween one after October was over?
You did Halloween 2 on October 28th. You did Halloween.
Oh, because it was number
2.
31. It wasn't on the 31st.
You did
Gotcha.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
On Halloween.
Or sorry, no, you did 2018. Sorry, excuse me.
I was going to say, I was like, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
remember if
yeah.
we
My
ever
bad.
did that.
I'm lying.
Okay.
I'm making up complete bullshit.
Okay, so go back. What was the first thing
So
that
you
we're on right
watched
now?
78.
78, yeah. So we did, I don't have anything to say about that. That was just when we realized, like, hey, why is Michael driving? Okay.
Yeah. Then you did 2018.
2018, I told the story about how I watched it with my friend Dylan and we fucking hated it. And then I watched it again. I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Looking back on it now,
Oh, there's a lot of thoughts on it now.
there's a
Go
lot of thoughts on it now.
listen to the Halloween Ends episode.
But honestly, I want to watch 2018 now because I feel like it's going to be a fucking walk in the park.
Yeah. Then you did Halloween 2, the 81 Halloween 2.
Probably my favorite Halloween, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, that might be my favorite Halloween of all time.
It's a good one.
I think I like it more than the original.
You can't get me on Dick Warlock. You know what I mean?
You can for me.
If Nick Castle was still behind the mask, I'd be 100% on board. But the fact that the mask looks all stretched out and shitty because it doesn't fit Dick Warlock's fucking melon head
For me,
pisses me off.
It's the hospital and the fire.
Yeah.
That scene of Michael walking down that hall with everything on fire around him,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's Halloween.
All right.
Like, when I think of Halloween and, like, my earliest memories and, like, my fondest memories, like, I remember, like, you know when you watch a series when you're younger and you've seen a bunch of the different movies
Yeah.
and you don't know which one is which and you just always have, like, those certain scenes that are in your head and you're like, that's what this series is?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is for me. It's Halloween 2. But also, for some very bad reason, it's kind of the last scene in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Right.
That one was in my head forever, and I could not figure out which one it was. Because let's see, that came out, what, 2008 or probably? His second
Yeah.
Halloween? I think it was 2008 or 2009.
8 or 9.
So that was what, like 13, 14 years ago?
Yeah.
So I was probably like 11 or something like that. 11 or younger, maybe? 25 now. So yeah,
Mhm.
I was probably like 11 or younger. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one was that one was from forever, but I was like, that's also a defining Halloween scene. And when I figured out which one it was and I saw it again, I went, oh no.
You know what's a defining Halloween scene? The one with the white horse.
James, that's what I'm fucking talking about.
I know.
That's what was in my head. I thought that was Halloween. And when I watched it again, I went, you know what? Some things that, like, you know, were really important to me as a child, I'll still hold near and dear, and I'll be like, that does still, like, track, and that is still
Yeah.
cool. I'll give that to Halloween 2 and the hallway and the fire. It reminds me of, like, Kill Bill and shit like that, you know? Like, it's in
Sure.
that, like, I love it because of that.
Yeah.
Not giving it to the white horse and the fucking her at the shed that's on fire and, like, the fucking cops shooting the shed and all that shit. No. Not
God,
not
it's too
Sherry
funny.
Moon Zombie fucking
Not Sherry
floating
Moon Zombie.
on a white horse. That's not Halloween. That's not Halloween to me. My youth steered me wrong. That's what I have to say about that.
All right. Next one is 34, 13 Ghosts. And we are officially out of Halloween territory.
That movie's fire.
So we're gonna stop on
13
35
Ghosts.
then, because that sounds perfect.
Yeah,
But,
that's a pretty good spot to stop.
13 Ghosts.
Tony.
Sucks.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub sucks. 13 Ghosts sucks. That movie is dog shit.
It's okay to be wrong. It's
But I
okay.
did rewatch it again for Scream in the past couple months. And I did come around to it. Not
Yeah?
in the way that I love it. I don't love it. But I think instead of being a half-star movie, it's like a 1.5-star movie.
All right.
Let me see exactly what I gave it on Letterboxd. My fondest memory of this episode, though, is how pissed Brie was.
That you hated it?
Not just that I hated it, she was pissed of how I was describing the movie like what I had to say about it. Like every scene, I just remember her stopping me and going, "That's not what fucking happened." Like that, because I remember like going into it and I'm reading the notes and I'm like, yeah, so this fucking Shaloub asshole walks into a mirror building and falls over like an idiot. He looks through some holes and he thinks he's cool. And she's just like, that's, I don't remember exactly
That
what I
ain't
said,
it.
you know, but she's like, that's not what's fucking happening. Like, honestly, what I'm saying right now is just so light in comparison to what I actually said about it. Because, look, I know whatever I said was outlandish. But that's what I saw. That's what I felt like what was happening in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was being bullshitted. I felt like I was being deceived. I felt like someone was fucking with me. And I just said what I felt. And I described the movie the way I described the movie through my lenses.
Sure.
The way I saw it.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
And it pissed her off. It fucking pissed her off. I think we even stopped the recording at one point because she got like pissed.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You gotta fucking stop." And I was like, "You could leave."
It's hilarious.
I was like, "You could not listen to me say it, or you could listen to me say it,
It's
and
just the way it is.
we're gonna do it because you got notes, because I got them."
Got some notes.
Yeah, I remember hating Tony Shalhoub, but there's other parts of the movie that I like.
The next one's actually really important. It's a interview with Megan Friels Johnson.
Oh, goes back to the first episode,
Right?
man.
I feel like we had to touch on that one.
And it is crazy because, like, not trying to discount Megan Friels, but, like, I remember when she replied to something, and I saw it, I texted Brie, and I was like, holy shit, a director of a movie. Talk
Absolutely.
to us.
Absolutely.
I lost my shit.
Yeah.
Lost my shit. I was like, holy fuck. I wasn't aware of the fact that, like, you know, some directors will just, like, a lot of directors will just talk to you.
You mean there's a lot of filmmakers out there that are just people?
They're just people.
You mean that's true?
By the time I was like, holy shit, she's famous.
Right.
They're fucking legends.
I get it.
But to me, and I will still say that to me, the ice cream truck is legendary.
There you go.
That is what legends are made of.
Absolutely.
I would never have such a great relationship with Hillary Barbary.
Nah.
Should probably call her Bareford sometimes. If it wasn't for the ice cream truck. And, you know, I always thought she was just a hilarious chick that trimmed hedges. Little did I know, she's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love her.
Fantastic humanoid.
A great human all around.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Hillary Barbary. So 35 is Rebound.
35's Rebound.
Wow, we're ending it on that. Yeah, Megan, I was a lot nicer about this movie than I should have been in the moment, if I'm being completely honest. Look, if we're doing this in the spirit of talking about, of like going back and giving my true feelings on all these episodes,
Oh my god.
I was really excited about talking to you, and I didn't want to. We already said, I think, on air or maybe to you, that we were going to cover Rebound directly after or at the same time that we did the interview.
Yeah.
And we did that. And I didn't want to interview and then be like, this is a piece of shit. But I'm saying it now. This is a piece of shit.
You know, it is a thing that you kind of get yourself into once you start opening up the door for interviews.
It's hard, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you have to and you have to decide what kind of podcaster you're going to be.
Yeah.
Or just what kind of personality you're going to be in general or whatever.
Mhm.
And what you're going to do. And really early on, like, I mean, anytime I interviewed anyone for the most part, I scared them because I was like, oh, well, this dick and that dick and fucking. I remember when I did the Oculus episode, we'll talk about that later.
Mhm.
But I remember I was talking about Mike Flanagan and people on the thing were like, because I was like, oh, this fucking asshole, this piece of shit, this
Like,
movie
you-
sucks.
You can't say
And they
that.
were
We're
like-
trying to work.
And no, that's what was whispered to me verbatim when we like paused. They were like, yeah, like I would maybe, but like I want to work with him someday.
Right.
And I said, oh, I do too, but I don't give a shit. This movie sucks. I was like, if he wants to work with me, He's gonna understand.
He's gonna
that
have to laugh at Oculus.
He's gonna have to understand that I like some stuff he did, but not other things. Like I think some things you did are really House on Haunted Hill, incredible. I think that's one of the
Good
best
shit.
horror TV shows like made in the past like fucking forever. It was great.
really
It was
good
so
shit.
good. Oculus is a piece of shit.
I like that movie.
That is the worst fucking movie I've ever seen. I hate it. I want to make a list of all the movies that I've said are the worst movies I've ever seen because no one will want to go through that list.
Yeah, you've
Fucking-
seen a lot.
Fucking sucks. Fuck Oculus. It is a giant piece of shit.
So fuck Rebound and
you
fuck
know
Oculus.
what?
Got it.
Fuck Rebound. I'm sorry. Megan, I still love you. You're still my homie. Hillary, I know why you weren't in Rebound.
There you go.
I gave it, and I still didn't say like it's a 5-star movie, but like I know I bumped it up a little bit. Like I gave it I gave it some points that like
You
I was
almost
like
have to.
I wouldn't have otherwise. And the only reason I'm saying something now, like I probably would just go to my grave with it, but it's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been like 3 or 4 years.
And this is what we're doing. It was.
And we're doing
2019.
and I'm doing my real thoughts.
Real thoughts.
I wanted to get 170 in right now. I wanted to get through 170 of these.
It's a lot.
We did 35. If
You have
we
a
go,
pretty good memory. You've had anecdotes about almost all of them.
I think I fell off on a few of them, but not
Yeah.
too bad. We got some going.
Yeah.
I got a few memories of these things.
Yeah.
More
More than I thought you would have.
same. I would say that I agree.
Yeah.
I thought there would be. I looked up horror movies part 3 and I forgot to get back to that.
Oh, that's right.
This is not. Okay, wait. The greatest horror threequels
There
ever.
it
That's
is,
not the list.
horror
I just want
threequels.
all of them, but okay. Halloween 3, Army of Darkness.
Yep.
That's an example of fucking solidifying yourself and just
Mhm.
going in and making something incredible
Yep.
on your third. It says the Purge election year. I never watched any after.
Wow.
Dude, Scream 3. You came back around to Scream
came
3,
out.
didn't you?
180 on Scream 3.
When I told
did
you
a
I loved
180
it
on that movie.
When I told you I loved it, you shit on me so hard.
Yep.
You were like, "This is the worst fucking movie
I
I've
was
ever
like,
seen."
no, bro,
It's
you're wrong.
terrible."
But dude, every character in that movie is the most pure form of themselves. as a
Written
character.
so well. The plot is probably the freshest and most it's probably the Scream story, plot wise, that
Yep.
makes the most sense out of any of them.
Oh, for sure.
If you put it on paper, it's like, of course this would happen. Of course this is what's going down. Yeah, I love Scream 3 so much.
Day of the Dead
Oh yeah.
versus Night and Dawn.
Okay. Dude, Psycho 3.
Psycho 3. Exorcist 3.
I think Psycho 3 was the one that I really liked. Was that the... Oh, no, maybe... Oh, no, I think it was 2 that was the one that I really liked. I don't know if I remember 3 that much. Wait, hold on, let me see, because I'm sure I rated it on Letterboxd, so let me... Psycho... I wrote Payco.
Return of the Living Dead 3.
Okay, I don't remember... I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
It's the one that has
I didn't-
the chick, you know? It's the famous cover. It's got the chick with all the little
Yeah,
sharp
yeah.
things in her.
I didn't rate 3 or 2 on Letterboxd. Okay. I think I liked 3 though, but I don't Exorcist 3 was pretty fucking cool.
Exorcist 3, I fuck with hard.
Did you see Paranormal Activity 3?
Yeah.
Is that good?
I think that's the Xbox one.
The what?
I think that's the Xbox one.
Wait, what?
The Xbox one. You don't remember that?
Wait, run that back?
The Xbox one. You don't remember
You're
that?
telling me an Xbox was haunted?
Basically. One of the Paranormal Activities, a huge part of it is they have an infrared camera set up and they have a Kinect for their Xbox. And so like you can see like the infrared grid that comes out of the Kinect and like
you're serious right now.
I'm dead serious. This is in the movie.
Oh, like you're serious. There was a Night of the Demons 3? I didn't know there was a 3.
I guess.
It says there's a 3, dude.
Dude, 3s are good.
Wait a second. And it says Angela returns.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think it looks like it's the same chick that plays Angela too. It's Amelia Kincaid.
We gotta watch that.
Kincaid. Wait. It says she's in 2 also.
Oh, really?
Wait, so she's in all of them? So it's just not Linnea Quigley?
Oh.
And the second one is basically what's
Guess I
going
don't
on?
remember 2 very well.
Yeah, no. Oh, dude, Sleepaway Camp 3?
Sleepaway Camp 3. Is that Teenage Wasteland?
Yeah, it's Teenage
Yeah,
Wasteland.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I like that one a lot.
Oh, wait. Texas Chainsaw 3 sucks. Sharknado 3 is called Oh Hell No.
Of course it is.
That's so funny. I forget the stupid-ass names to all of those.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Amityville 3D sucked.
Mm,
We're starting to lose it. Final Destination 3. I don't remember which one that was.
I don't remember either.
Toxic Avenger 3 kind of... Was that the one where he's like...
I think
he's
I've
like-
only seen the first.
I think he's in like an office building in that one.
Mm.
Like he's like punching numbers. I'm so serious. I'll always know what you did last summer.
No.
Yeah, that movie's bad. Okay. I feel like for the most part though,
There's some good ones in there.
I feel like it's majority good ones.
Threes are special, man.
I was calling out bad ones right now, like in a row, right?
Threequels are special.
They're good, man. Okay, well, I think that's the episode. I think maybe we'll continue this on later, maybe in like a month or so or something.
Yeah.
But we'll do the, horror soup overview kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get through more of them. Maybe we'll stop when we get to like 150 or something, because then at that point we're just rehashing stuff that we
Did recently.
did like very recently.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll do it like up until like the break or something like that. Like when we
Yeah.
came back from the break
Yeah.
after a while.
That's probably good.
But yeah, I hope you guys like this episode, because we've been talking about just doing other things that aren't horror movies exactly. But like, I mean, this still is. We're talking about horror movies, but like, like we said, talking about like directors and actors and like
Yeah.
going into deep dives, or maybe doing like game shows or stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, doing some trivia.
like the horror, like this or that or something, that we did on Scream. Maybe doing stuff like that over here. Trivia, fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
I think that'd be cool, but we're
Fun stuff.
going to brainstorm some stuff. But for now, if you guys want to send in a story, send it to horrorsoup@yahoo.com. You can record like an audio clip on your phone, and just like, you can ask us a question or tell a story or like whatever. If you ask us questions and you like, send an audio clip, we'll just play it right here. And then you can tell it on the show. You'll hear yourself on the show. And then we'll answer it. We'll tell you things. That's horrorsoup@yahoo.com. You can send anything else to horrorsoup@yahoo.com if you want to send like love or questions or anything else. We do lag on getting back to the email. I'm saying I do lag on getting back to the email, but we will get to all of it. Like it's all going to pop around eventually. It does get read. It does get seen. So just be aware that it's there. And Horror Soup is on Patreon. That's where we do a ton of bonus. That's where we do a ton of bonus episodes.
Yep.
That's patreon.com/horrorsoup. We do like full bonus episodes, like movies. We're gonna start doing ski movies and shit. I'm so excited to start doing ski movies,
baby.
That's what I like primarily want to do for at least a while. But yeah, bonus episodes, Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone, all that fun stuff. We do watch throughs, video episodes, audio episodes. Ton of shit. We're gonna bring polls back soon too, which I think will be fun. Having people pick like a movie every month.
I miss
and whatnot.
polls.
Polls were pretty fun. They're pretty fun, especially when you get people voting and like fighting over shit.
Yeah.
I kind of like pitting the audience against each other. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. I miss polls.
Again, you can watch this video and many others on Horror Soup on YouTube. And then just for everything else, the Instagram's at Horror Soup, the Twitter's at Horror Soup Sucks, and then our Letterboxd, I'm at Horror Soup Caleb, James is at Night Shift Video, Tough Guy in the back over here is at Vibes_Cleveland. And thank you to Ross Lee for making our intro and outro music. Oh, and check out the TikTok. We are starting to post a little more stuff on TikTok. That's at Horror Soup also. And man, if you guys want a cameo, I think we could bring cameo back to where it's all of us now,
Yeah, that'd be more
cameo
fun.
is getting boring for me because it was just me, and I'm just like, dicks, right? Am I right? But now
am I right?
we could all say dicks, and then like you could say, am I right?
Hey, am I right?
So cameo.
Let's do some cams.
Horror Soup cameo. We could do it as a gang now, dude. Yeah. Shoot it. Yeah.
Damn.
All right, we're out. We're done.
See
You
you
got
guys.
anything, James?
Nah, I'm good.
Tough guy?
I'm good.
All right, show yourself, tough guy.
I can't.
It's the 4th, remember?
Oh.
I haven't been clicking that at all.
Oh, show yourself. All right, end it. That's perfect.